Hi everybody, this is Lada from Evolution Through Meditation. Thank you for supporting this channel. Today is August 13th, 2026, and we just went through a big solar eclipse. The energy was really intense. I was teaching yesterday, I've done so many sessions. and so that was a huge energy that everybody was triggered on, and a lot of people don't realize the energetics that are happening through a thing like an eclipse and alignment of different planets. So that's one thing that happened, and another huge earthquake actually happened, and I believe that was on the 12th. It was before the solar eclipse, and it happened in Colombia, and 34 million people felt the shaking. The shaking was so intense that not only it was very destructive, and you might know there's so many destructive earthquakes all around the planet right now, but it also was so intense that it was felt in all the surrounding states, and then it was even felt as far as California. I've seen people from California talking about it. So when the earth shakes, it influences our first chakra. First chakra is connected to our physical reality, our sense of stability, support. And so when the earth shakes, right, the first chakra really opens and kind of goes into survival, right? It is really about survival, because so many people are really scared of their lives, of being able to stay alive, even if it's not necessarily directly happening where they live. And so a lot of people go in massive amount of panic and fear. It's a huge energy in the collective consciousness right now. Fear, panic, hopelessness. So I want to talk about that a little bit in this first part of this video, how the collective consciousness is influencing us, and also how can we have our personal growth living on this planet right now. It's not always fun, right? It seems like it's intense right now to live on Earth. So we're going to be aligning with our energy as well, and how maybe exploring a little bit, well, how can I be in my frequency and grounded while the world is shaking? And a lot of people are in fear and panic. And this is not spiritual bypassing, right? Spiritual bypassing would be ignoring it and thinking that if we're gonna, sit home, meditate, hide, ignore things, that it's somehow gonna sort itself out. That would be spiritual bypassing. And I truly respect all of you who decided not to watch news, or I'm not even on social media myself. I only have YouTube because I have also a YouTube channel. Because it can be very intense energy, and it can really influence us. We take it on, and then it lowers our vibration, or it kicks us out of the body because it's just so much intensity. So I really do understand, and for many years I was choosing to do that. But here's the thing. We all have physical bodies. You're on this planet. You have a physical body. This body is made of, I like to say our bodies are made of earth. Maybe you even read the book, Made of Clay. It's matter, it's the feminine, where if we look at the yin and yang within us and outside of us, the masculine is the intention. We can say almost is the thought, but it's the feminine who creates the form and who feels. She feels that. And so no matter if we ignore what's happening, it's going to be influencing us. It's really influencing our bodies. This earth, the body of the goddess, is really going through a huge cleanse and purge and transformation. I notice she's speaking very loudly. So for some people who were associating feminine with passive, you can see, oh, no, Earth has yin and yang too. She has a lot of fire. We can see it. There's so many fires. We have a fire right now really close to Santa Fe, where I live. And so even the Earth has yin and yang, right? They're not separated. So we have these bodies. Our bodies are earth-based, and we live on this earth and we feel. And so that energy, that collective, is going to be really influencing us, because equally, we really are all connected. And there can be a bit of a spiritual bypass thing where I would say at a certain level of your spiritual journey, there comes the point where we started owning our space, we have our practice, we can create enough, and we can kind of close ourselves into a bubble. And we stop forgetting that me is also a we. Like, I'm connected to all of you who are watching, and I'm connected to everybody who is not, and the birds and the trees and the earth. And that's why collective will influence us, because we are part of the whole. And there are different ways of working with it. One of them is definitely, grounding, owning space, learning tools to own your space, clear it, separate from energies of others. And when I mean separate, it's not like I'm going to ignore it, I'm going to resist it, I'm going to fight it, I'm going to judge it, I'm going to judge where somebody else is. This is all a form of resistance. It's a lower chakras energy where the body is just kind of defending itself. It doesn't really move the energy out. What it actually does, it often puts people in isolation, and it gets heavy and sticky, and then it's kind of me versus the world, me versus others. Whatever tools you use that are helping you to own your space, you realize it's me and others. My responsibility is how I show up in the world. My responsibility is how I take care of my energetical space, my nervous system, my physical space, the sanctuary of my body, and how I show up to the world any given day. That's something I can really influence. And notice that if more people would take responsibility for their space, this planet would look really different. But we were told that the fault, that the villain is outside of us. There's a lot of divide and conquer energy on the planet. You might have noticed it's really coming out now. Nothing that's being revealed is new. It's been here. It's been hidden. And for us humans, it's often uncomfortable to look there. We're also are told not to look into the darkness. We're also taught to be afraid of our own shadows. So we don't gonna look there, right? It's ugly. And we're trained not to look into the ugly. But that's all being revealed. So we can't really hide away from it. There's so much divide and conquer energy. And the idea, I would say, of maybe, for whatever reason, unity consciousness is what's coming to me, this unity consciousness. And there are different levels of working with it or understanding it. Let's say a lot of spiritual people thought it was kind of leaving their body and connected to the one and kind of leaving the body behind. There's a lot of religious programming connected to that, right? Shame, sin, guilt for our desires, our physicality. Then we can have also unity consciousness in the heart. It's beautiful, but if we only have it in the heart, we will not have boundaries. We will be overgivers. Often we won't have boundaries. If we get hurt, we close our heart. So it's kind of like almost being on a rough sea if it's just in our heart. And then there's also the lower part, right? Our connection to the earth, our roots, our emotions, our sensuality, sexuality, the second chakra. And we can definitely hold that as well there, right? The energy of the unity consciousness. But that's sometimes what happens if we are only in the lower chakras, if we're only connected to the physical, then we don't have the other parts. And I often see people without like a deeper connection to their spirit and their own spirituality, because we really each have our own connection to spirit, and it's very unique. And then it's just like, okay, what? So it's just work, sex, doing things every day, just going on repeat, maybe having a family, maybe not, but the system still does having kids and a partner is what you do, right? And just being kind of on a hamster wheel, and there's like no bigger purpose. Like, really, this is what I'm here for. And what I see and practice, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I never talk about things that I'm not practicing myself, because I wouldn't share things with you that I don't know that they're working. And they're working for me. They might work for you just a little bit. It might be like, yeah, this one just doesn't work. That's fine. We are really all different. But I will dare you to try. Just try a little meditation with me at the end of this video. And it's going to give you a tool that you can use every day when you feel lost. It can just kind of help you align. Or you might try it and be like, oh, this is just sitting. This is like the right thing for me. I love it. And if this style of meditation, it's really in the core, intuitive meditation, but it's embodied intuitive meditation. We work with the physical and the spiritual, and then aligning our mental and emotional kind of with it in a very simple way using visualization. And you might realize this is really my thing. I love it. And in that case, I will share at the end of this video, I will share a playlist of different meditations. And some of them are just meditation, sometimes there's a bit of talking, but you can learn how to use some spiritual tools where you use your ability to see and know energy and also feel energy in your body. So the reason why I would say it's sometimes good to know what's going on in the world is, again, because the energy will influence us. We are on Earth, we are off Earth, we are one with the collective. So we are separated and we're also one, right? The dichotomies that we live in on this Earth. And this energy will influence us. And if we don't realize it's not ours, then we will internalize it. And I see it all the time with my clients and my students. It's me. Like, I woke up and I'm weird and I'm anxious and things are not going, or I have really dark thoughts, and well, it must be me. What is it? And it can really spin people out. And even people who are using whatever tools you're using to clear energy out of your space, then it's not working, right? Because they're trying to heal something that isn't theirs. They're internalizing the whole energy. So what is important to realize is that not everything we feel is our energy. And this is a huge misconception. And I myself am a huge empath. And I used to treat it like it was something to get rid of. Like it was a disease. Like, like you feel too much. And then as I was doing intuitive training and learn how to move energy and distribute energy more healthily through my body, I realized, no, this is a gift. Like, me feeling so deeply and being so tuned into this planet and the collective is a gift. However, it's my responsibility to take care of that gift, to take care of my space. There's certain things maybe I used to do in the past that I just realized, well, you just can't do it. Or you can, but it's really kind of, you end up being sideways after. So I had to learn to just take better care of myself, of my body, of my energy, of my energetical and physical space, and keep it really grounded. And just learn, wow, not everything you feel is yours, and often a lot of what I feel is absolutely not mine. And just learning to accept it, to validate it, and release what isn't mine, right? And just realizing, like, my body and bodies of a lot of intuitive, empathic feeling people, we're like antennas, but not up here, you know? Like, some people really know energy, and they love just sitting here, looking at energy, knowing energy, just disconnect and And yeah, it's a very neutral, very safe space, but I find it denies the purpose of being here. Nobody forced you to create this body. Nobody threw you on earth without you wanting. There's a lot of preparation on a soul level with our guides, and just a lot of spirits. We're preparing this lifetime. We're making agreements. We're making agreements with our parents. You're going to give me this body and these sets of challenges and gifts so I can have these qualities for my life. And then what am I going to choose to do with them? Because I would say 99% of all people on earth have some form of trauma. There are many different levels of trauma, and they look many different ways. So we all set it up so we have some wound, right? So because through the wound we heal, and when we heal and integrate the wound, we really connect with our gifts. So a lot of it goes into us incarnating to this planet. We're not victims of anything, not even karma. It kind of denies the purpose when people spend time to disconnect from the body. When they're on earth and they created this body, they created this reality, these sets of conditions. And yes, in our bodies we will feel pain. That's inevitable. We will feel disappointment. We will feel death of our close ones, and eventually our own death. Eventually we all gotta die. That's given. There is no way out of that. We're gonna die. So let's clear that one out. So you're gonna feel many things. Fear is a big one, right? That's what a lot of us are just like, can I be present with my fear? Can I own my fear? How do I stay grounded? How do I keep this body safe without avoiding and isolating? But there are also many other amazing, amazing qualities and emotions, feelings we can feel. And just try it. Touch your skin, but really bring your attention. You can even close your eyes. Bring your attention to a gentle touch of your fingers touching your skin. And, if you're really kind of out of your body or very much in your mind, in your head, in the beginning you might not even feel anything. It took me a while. I was very much out of my body. I wouldn't feel my feet often, definitely not my toes. And with years of grounding and spiritual practice, I started really feeling my body. And just gently touch yourself, just gently. Notice there's a calming feeling. It's even pleasurable. If you touch yourself on the inside of your arm, this is a very, very pleasant area. It can be also, if you're stressed, just sitting down, breathing. This can really calm you down, right? And you might have other places on your body. So it's just the basic. Right? If we feel alone, we can hug ourselves. When I'm going through big shifts and I feel lost, I often find myself sleeping and just hugging myself. And then my dog he kind of, I end up spooning him, and he puts his head kind of in my stomach, and we're just sleeping. So even if you don't have anybody who can give you a hug, you can give it to yourself. Even if you don't have anybody who can say, good job, please tell it to yourself. Good job, I've done it. Good job, I've taken that risk. Good job, I had that conversation that was terrifying. Good job, this person doesn't like me and I still like myself. These little things, and they really make a difference in our lives. When we start validating and valuing ourselves for ourselves and not waiting for people to clap us. And I just recently had an experience, a personal experience, where, I almost every day get emails from people thanking me for my classes and my guidance, and it's just so, like, I'm always so honored and appreciative, because watching people grow is like probably my favorite thing in the world, and really shifting and changing. And then I've learned that some people are saying behind my back some stuff that I were like, really, like, why? Like, I worked with you, you were welcomed, you chose not to take more classes or not to come to more sessions. Okay, but why do you have to go around and say things like that? You know, it really hurt me on a very deep level. And then I really realized, well, this is in the core of this, is also searching for validation. Right? So 80% of people can tell you, this is great, like, I'm really growing, I find this very beneficial. And 20% say, oh, this is fucking shitty, I hate it, I hate you, I don't want to see you again, and blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, okay. But this suddenly became this, like, oh, you know, for like, it really paralyzed me for one day. It's just all that energy. And then I had to make a choice. Like, I live in alignment with my truth. I live in my purpose, which also means that I do shift and change throughout the life. I'm not staying the same person, because in the core of my purpose is transformation. And I gotta know who I am. And if people align and dance with it and want to learn from me, that's great. And if people don't, and they say shitty things behind my back, there's something I can never control. I can only clear my grief around it. I can feel it, I can release it, and just let it be what it is. And in the end, just validate myself, because I do show up. Yeah, so that's just like a little thing, right? Just about the searching for the validation outside of us. It's addictive, and we're told to do that. We're told that, you know, I'm not on social media, but the likes, right? Likes and hearts, and oh, how many people like my post? Oh, how many people interacted, and da 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 da. And then it's so easy to jump on it, right? Or how many people think I'm good looking? How many people think I'm a good person? How many people think, right? And we just start searching for the answer outside of ourselves. And there's something beautiful Carl Jung said. It was like, if you don't know who you are, ask the word, and the word will tell you. And what they tell you is their reality, right? Is just how, this is how I perceive you. But it's our job to know who we are. And one thing I do really want to validate as I work with people, amazing people around the world, amazing men and women, some young people now, like there are more young people really interested in like a deeper spiritual practices, which is just amazing. I love it. I do see a huge shift. So in the past, a lot of people would come to classes and sessions, pretty much work on the same topic the whole time, but never make a change. Just didn't make change in their lives, to the point that I had to kind of stop working with some people, because in the core of my teaching is, yeah, you work your energy, you do your spiritual practice, and then you go and take action in your life. You align your spirituality with your physicality. The mind will often catch up later. Now I see a huge difference. People are taking action. They're making changes. I see so many men and women just taking so many changes. In our female masterclass, everybody's going through this big shift. They're aligning their physical world with their energetical truth, with the truth of their higher self. I see people moving. I see people leaving relationships that are not aligned and really trusting they're good enough even when they're not in a relationship. Really shifting patterns, abusive patterns. So I really want to, I'm just so excited to see that. Like, seeing more and more people aligning their spirituality with their physical reality, because that's where the real shift happens. And I myself, just recently, I've been having so many incredible conversations. I gotta say right now it's more with men, like really real and just genuine, and they're just so healing. Men of different ages, different background, different experiences, that I'm in different kinds of relationships with. And it's just so refreshing and healing and liberating. And I'm realizing, well, this is how the healing happens. that we are being authentic and real and honest with each other. That's how healing happens. It doesn't happen through pretending we're so spiritually awakened and and it doesn't touch us. It actually happens through that action that maybe in the past might have been scary, and suddenly it feels like this is the most natural thing to do, is to be honest, to be real, to be vulnerable and authentic. So the healing is happening. There is a lot of healing happening right now. And this kind of brings me into the little meditation we're going to do together, where we're going to be aligning our spiritual, our heart center, which is the bridge, is the connector, connection, and our physical. And the fifth dimension, New Earth, whatever the name you've heard about it, right? It's not an external place. It's not a place to go. There's nobody gonna come and save you. You gotta do your inner work. There are no saviors. We're our own saviors. There's no guru that will guide you through it if you stick around. You are your own teacher. And you are the one who needs to take action to align, right? So we're gonna do this alignment that can be very helpful even during the day. You can do it in the morning or anytime during the day when you kind of feel lost. I do it, many times a day. Sometimes I start with bed, my first alignment, and then I kind of go through the day and notice what throws me off my throne. We all should be king and queens of our own energetical space, really sitting in the throne. This body is a sanctuary. And often there will come energies of other people, of the word, work, whatever that is. And they're just going to throw us off the throne. And how to get back on it. Okay? So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. Let's close our eyes together. And feel into your body. And we have chakras on the bottom of our feet that are bringing in earth energy. So that's when it's kind of tricky if you're meditating and you don't connect your feet at all. It is kind of hard, to connect to the earth energy. And just notice as we say hello to the earth, to the mother, she's very alive. And her body is really big and we're all on it. Kind of connect with the earth energy intentionally on that, like a really deep level. So it's beyond all the growth. It's beyond all the it's below all the purge. There's a place that's very calm and quiet. I kind of see it as umbilicus cord. It's like a baby in the womb of the mother, right? And even if the mother is going through things, there's that umbilicus cord holding it safe in the belly, and there's quiet there. And so as you're connecting to Earth, connect really deep down where it's calm and quiet and supportive. And imagine yourself being connected with a beam of colorful light. Choose a color. First color that comes to you. And imagine like a beam, can be like a lightsaber. Like, I love Star Wars. I'm not a Star Wars geek, but I really, really love the message and all the movies, including the latest one with Rey as the main character, the female. So whatever color of the lightsaber, and imagine you're being connected from your base, which is at the base of your spine, to the center of this planet. And there's a very effortless connection. And in the very unstable world, this is one way, very simple way, how to start finding stability. I am connected. I'm not floating somewhere in the sky above my body, and I don't know what the heck is going on, and my life is completely, falling apart, and I don't know what's going on. And this is going to start giving you stability. And so what happens when we start being connected to Earth, grounded? We start shifting that consciousness, or it's happening to me, I'm some victim of karma and this word and my family, into, okay, I'm a soul, I'm here, and it's happening for me. I wrote the script. Nobody wrote it for me. I did it. You wrote your script. And just let it work for a moment, just noticing the difference. And it can be very subtle. Another thing I'm noticing, when we connect to the planet, our energy starts coming back to us. It just starts happening. And you can imagine that grounding core being really wide and encompassing the whole space around you, your aura, and grounding that. And what happens is going to start helping you release what isn't yours. When we ground, everything that isn't ours, or it's no longer in the vibration of our truth, just starts coming out. We start grounding it out. Yeah. And now I'm going to invite you, and we work with our imagination, our third eye, to imagine a color that's really the color of, we can say, your next step. In this moment is the color of your highest truth. And as it comes up, imagine you can kind of paint it on the crown of your head. You can even turn it into a crown of that color and just put it on your head, because this is where the crown chakra is, right? It goes up, it connects us to the higher spiritual frequencies, our higher self. On the higher level, it's going to connect us to the source, where we're all one. So this is going to help you to know your vibration, right? So if you enter a room, you can imagine it's like so many stations and people are talking over each other. And if you're sensitive, intuitive, you will match them, and it's going to be like a radio in your head. That's why a lot of sensitive people isolate. And for a long time, I was one of them. I would go between being around people and then really isolating for longer periods of times. So this is just going to help you. I know who I am. This is my frequency, right? So my radio has my frequency and all the other people has theirs. And I'm not inviting those frequencies in my body, in my space. And I'm going to invite you to start bringing that color into your heart as well. So we're going to have it in our crown. We're going to have it in our heart. So knowing something in my heart. And heart is where we're connected to our higher self. We can say the higher knowledge we have. And so when the heart is flowing and open and aligned with our vibration, it's like a compass. It's going to tell you which way to go. Where do I have affinity? What excites me? This is not about some small romantic love. Oh, I'm attracted to this person. I think I love them. No. This is so much deeper than that. It also, when you open your heart, it really changes the way we love. Yeah. And then we're going to bring it down to the body. So there's we can say, lower wisdom center. It's our roots, whereas our first chakra, root chakra, connects us. We have that grounding there. And then on top of it is the second chakra, which is the emotional center, sexual center. It's our life force. So imagine that you allow, and it's kind of in your lower belly, in your abdomen. You allow that color you've seen, you have it in your crown, you have it in your heart, and just allow that lower center to start vibrating there too. And just breathe for a moment and allow yourself to just let go any interference. That grounding cord will suck it out from you if you allow it. We work with gravity. And just then allow, those colors as they are to start communicating with the rest of your space, the smaller chakras, the rest of your major chakras, with your cells, with your bones, with your blood. Kind of giving information to your whole system. I'm aligning with this color, because color is frequency. And then we give it a name and we say, oh, it's blue, or it's yellow, it's orange, it's pink. but it starts with the frequency. Just notice how that feels. And we're gonna do one more step. It's like a basic intuitive tool. Imagine above your head an image of a big golden sun, just like a big ball of golden, gorgeous energy that is your spiritual essence. It's your energy. I see gold on that level as fingerprints. Our bodies have fingerprints and they say they're unique, right? Well, so is our gold on that level. There is a universal gold, but then there's also like a personal gold. Gold color. So imagine that above your crown. Unique. It's you. And then bring it into your body. You can kind of imagine it starting to pour in. And recently somebody told me a beautiful thing. I'm going to share this with you. You know, we can work with colors, right? We can bring colors. Some people still work with white. White is tricky because we can't really have it in the body. So if you want to do embodied intuitive work, it's just not the path to choose. And somebody told me recently, gold, you know, we often give ourselves golden sun, that it's like stem cells. Your spiritual stem cells. You bring it into your body, and then the gold transmutes into exactly what you need in your space, in your aura, in your chakras. So imagine you're like a glass and you're just filling it from top, and the glass is going, the gold is going down and filling your feet. You're like a glass and it's filling your whole body until the top of your head, and then it pours out of your head and starts filling all the space around you, below you, above you, your aura. And then own it. You got to own it. This is me. This is my space. This is my energy. This is my alignment. And open your eyes. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know. I've been really incorporating the alignment for quite a while now, and I find it incredibly helpful, mostly if the collective is in a massive growth. And, you know, we are all in massive growth. There is nobody on earth who isn't in growth. And even if people are trying to kind of bury themselves under the earth and acting like this is not happening, we're all growing, and we all chose to be here in this time. And I hear people saying, this is such an amazing time. But it doesn't always feel like that, right? But the truth is there's a lot of healing happening. The return to earth, to simplicity, slowing down, to the rhythms of nature that's been occurring more and more. I would say many relationships and people are becoming more authentic and in their essence, in their truth. And, you know, being authentic doesn't make us popular. And there's this big expectation of popularity. I'm definitely noticing it a lot in American culture. I'm not from here, but I'm noticing now it's spread all around the world, right? People are seeking, again, that validation. Popularity is seeking validation outside of yourself. And so as you're becoming more and more authentic in who you are, you might be less popular. But I can tell you, you will have so much more time for what you like. The people in your life really charge you. They don't drain you. There's a spiritual communication when you're around them. Might be non-verbal, but you feel better after seeing them. You feel fulfilled, not drained. And a lot of these gifts that are opening, we need some space for ourselves. We need some time for ourselves, silence, not being always surrounded by other people or being on the phone or watching TV or Netflix or whatever you're doing, TikTok. I've never even had TikTok, but I've heard it's really popular. But in those moments when we can be by ourselves, we can go for a walk, sit down in nature, a lot of things can start kind of clicking together. And you might have like really big awarenesses. So meditation doesn't have to look a certain way. For me, I started meditating when I was 14, and I didn't even realize I was meditating. I would be sitting in my grandma's garden, and usually until it got really, really dark, and then I went to bed. And I would just sit there, and I was quiet, and I was looking in the garden. And I would breathe. And I remember I even would probably steal a cigarette from my grandpa, and sometimes have a cigarette and just sit there. And then suddenly I realized, like, I'm starting to have this communication from a higher part of me, and I'm starting to know things and see things differently. And now I realize, like, that was meditation. However you meditate, it's about quieting down the mind and staying present, and you can say grounded enough to receive that into your body. And then the next step doesn't have to happen immediately. Sometimes we collect information for a long time. Then we have to sort the information out. It's like, well, this is like a lot, so I have to sort it out. What's valid right now? But then we have to act on it to be able to integrate it. And I was listening to the astrologer Levine the other day, and I loved what he said, that the Sanskrit word for karma means action. Isn't it great? It just explains so much. So thank you so much. Thank you. If you find this useful, please subscribe, please like, please share. And if not, that's great. And thank you for sticking to the end. This is quite a long video if you didn't like it. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.